Hi, everybody. I'm going to do another video here on completing the square. And just like before, when I had done the previous one here, you notice that when I divide by 2, that is going to be the same as multiplying by 2, by 1/2, I should say. And that really just means I'm going to put a factor of 2 in the denominator. I'm going to do the same questions that I did before here, but I want to point out where some people do this thing a little bit differently here. Now, the first thing we want to do here is we want to remove the leading coefficient. Now, in the other method that I showed you here, we just removed the leading coefficient from the first two terms, but I have seen a lot of students who kind of doggedly want to take the 3, that leading coefficient, out of everything, okay? Now, you can make that work if you know what to do with that at the end here. That's not typically how we approach this, but I see a lot of students that still do it, even though we don't typically do this as a way of modeling this. So let me show you what to do if you're going to do it this way. So once we've done that, we're going to take that middle term there, that 4. We know that there should be a factor of 2 in there. And if we take that 2 out, there's another 2 left over. This is the 2 I'm working with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that 2 squared, which will be 4, and I'm going to subtract that right away. And then I've still got this -6 hanging out at the end here. So what I'm going to do in this next step here is I'm going to combine. I want this triplet to stay here. I want this first little bit here to be there. That's my perfect square trinomial. That's the square that I completed. But now I've got this -10 hanging out at the end here. So what I'm going to do, first of all, before I deal with this perfect square trinomial that I've created, I'm now going to take that -10 out by multiplying it by that leading coefficient, the 3. And then that trinomial can be factored as a perfect square trinomial, and I get x plus 2 squared. So 3 times x plus 2 squared minus 30, which is the same one that I got when I did this with a different method here. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one right here. This one's going to get a little bit messier, but again, the reason why I'm doing this is because I get a lot of students that want to take that leading coefficient out of everything, even though normally when we do this, we only take it out of the first 2. So if I take it out of everything, I'm going to get these 3's in the denominator, which isn't super pretty, but that's okay. So what we're going to do here, remember, is I need there to be a factor of 2 there, but that's going to leave me with a 5/6, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm now going to add 5/6 squared. That's completing the square here, so 25 over 36, and I'm going to immediately subtract that. And then this is going to be plus 7 over 3 at the end there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to combine, and I'm going to leave this 25 over 36 here because that's how I'm going to complete the square, but I'm going to put together this -25 over 36 plus 7 over 3. And it turns out that is going to get me 59 over 36. Okay, finding a common denominator. I am going to take that final term out there by multiplying it by 3, and that's going to get me 59 over 12. And now this last step here is going to be to factor the trinomial here, the perfect square trinomial, into x minus 5/6 all squared. And this is the form that I wanted it to be in. Again, this is the same form that I got before. It's just a matter of how you take that last term out here. So if you're gonna do that, if you know in your heart here, I know I'm the kind of person that I'm going to factor that out of the whole thing, then this is really the model that you should use to finish off completing the square.